4:45 Arizona time. How is everyone tonight? I've been really busy with lots of stuff here. So I've been posting shorts and stuff like that, but I haven't, gone live in a bit. So I just thought I'd come on for a few, and I thought I'd come on for a few and do a little live here. I'm trying to find something to prop you guys up on. Let me see if this will work. I see a lot of people, trying to get ready for Mother's Day. It's something that I feel like right now is crunch time because it's week after. Well, it's May 10th, but right now, I mean, time has been flying by so freaking fast. So, yeah. So good to be on. So good to see people. You guys know what? I took, I don't know what's going on with my hair. I've been having, the worst hair problems. So, ever since I had, I had emergency surgery with my thyroid and getting my thyroid removed, um, it's like that part of the thyroid, I'm on medicine. So, it's like medicine isn't doing everything that the thyroid did do. So I was losing my hair and just all kinds of stuff. It is growing back in much, much thicker, and I chopped it all off Valentine's Day because I just couldn't take all the tangles and stuff with it. So I thought I'd get it cut off and try and re-jumpstart it. So anyhow, the latest has been I took a shower and it freaking shrunk. My freaking hair shrunk. So, am I going to have to go to the dry cleaners? What? Am I growing silk? You know what I mean? I mean, it freaking shrunk, guys. And I got so many cowlicks and stuff. And yes, I do need to color it again. So, I don't know. Anybody else having this experience? I mean, I couldn't believe it. It freaking shrunk. What is going on with my hair? So, other than that, that's what I have going on. So, tonight, what we're going to do is I'm going to be going through some old gifts. And, they've been shifted around a lot and moved around a lot, and they've, kind of came apart. So, we're going to be restabilizing those tonight for just a few. Ooh, I got some people on. Hello, how are you? Hello. Let's see, looks like Jackson Jimenez. And hi, you guys, how are you tonight? I'm trying to pronounce your names. I can't pronounce your guys' names, but hello. So I got to get this other part of this tape off. My cat Humphrey loves playing with the tape. And when he comes to play with it, the roll sticks back together, and now I gotta undo it again, and yada, yada, yada. So we're just going to get this back together. And this was a really great concept that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, because the people loved it. They really loved it, and I believe that if I didn't get heat stroke, I would have moved all of them. Mother's Day is one of those holidays where it's a multiples. So what that means is I won't be doing the big ones because people are going to be shopping for at least 4 people. It would be their mother, their mother-in-law, and then the spouse's mother and mother-in-law, right? On top of the spouse. So, and grandmothers. I've had people get for grandmothers before too. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going out later. So I'll be going out at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And then I will be going out at 2 p.m. On Sunday. And then that's it for me. But here in Arizona, it makes a huge difference. Last year I was I'm going to go out at 10 a.m. People are going to be waking up. They've had their coffee. They're going to be doing errands. And let's see here. I was out there for 2 hours and things did jump off. But right when they So I jumped off a couple times, but right when things really got moving, which was about 12 o'clock, I got really bad heat stroke and I had to come back home, and I was in bed for 3 days recovering from it. It was god awful. So another problem with people who have thyroid issues is we're cold tolerant and we're heat intolerant. So, medication does not replace everything that the thyroid does, because I was definitely, and I still am having those issues that, I'll probably have for the rest of my life. But, you know, um, so yeah, and it was like such a bummer. I had to come home, and I mean, I was icing like the back of my neck, down my legs, everything just round the clock for 72 hours. Heat stroke here in Arizona is just no joke. So, so this year, I'll be going out later in the day, 2 p.m. And, that's honestly when people are usually like up and about and doing their errands. Um, so I'll be out Saturday the 9th and Mother's Day the 10th. People are really last minute, to the point to where they are last minute. So, like, are you going to be out tomorrow? It's like, oh, when's Mother's Day? Oh, today. Oh, what you got? Hi, Lisa Anderson. How are you, sweetheart? Thank you for tuning in with me, girl. I was saying earlier, all the hair problems that I'm having. Um, well, I cut my hair all off on Valentine's Day to try and re-jumpstart it. The latest thing with my hair is I washed it and it shrunk. So am I like growing silk or something? Do I need to go to the dry cleaners? You know what I mean? So that's just been the latest that's been happening with it. I will say, though, it is growing in thicker. More gray, but yeah, it's growing in a lot more thicker. All right, so let's get into this revamping. And it's more or less like not revamping, but putting everything back in place, because I had moved it so many times. And because these perfumes are heavy because they're real glass. This is the Mon Amour Paris perfume. One of the things when I was out there at the streets was I had test bottles for all the perfumes that I was offering in the baskets, right? This is a very powerful perfume. And so when I use this with the Victorious, the trophy one, we'll go through. I'm pretty sure I got one of those in here. The guys were just, it was so funny. I wish I had it on tape, because they're like, whoa, I'll go with the Victorious. So what I did was I just lightly sprayed it, because even if you do spray it a lot, it does mellow out, but it takes a few for it to mellow out. So what I did was I just lightly squirted it, and it was enough to where you could smell the goodness in that. So I am gonna try and do that, because they loved it. They loved the Eiffel Tower. They love novelty. So what I did with this is I am putting it with a butterfly carton of a dozen roses. And what I do is I just this is like a macaroon box, and I put a free candle in there, and I'm hoping these don't melt. And that's another thing. I do not have any other kind of candles out there, because last year they melted. So just as like things are melting on the hood and I was getting heat stroke, that's when I went in. So, okay. So what I did was, I'm going to bring you guys down here for those of you who are watching the replay. Okay, so here's the carton of butterflies. And then what I do is I hot glue the bottom of this, and then I snuggle it into the block, right? And so it looks, let me see here. so it looks like it's, snuggled in there really nice, and it really gives it a really good, whoops, sorry about that. And it gives it a really good effect to it. And then what I do is I take the perfume box. Let me get you guys situated again. I still don't have one of those, phone case holders. Okay, yeah, and this is by Urban. And I love it when they come in these tall perfume boxes. So I took a hand lotion and I taped it to the front. And then what I do is I hot glue this to the top, and I'm using the perfume box as a base. And then I also got to take this, let me lean you guys back more. Okay. So then I take a rose, because this rose fell off, and I put it right in there, and I hot glue it to the front. And then I wrap it in either polka dot CeeLo or the butterfly CeeLo. And the people went crazy for this. They loved it. And I got to tell you guys, a big point with gifts is, like I have the decorative butterfly CeeLo wrap. And I think I'm going to be redoing this. They love it. The polka dot CeeLo wrap, they go crazy for it. So I want you guys to know, it's everything, right? And it's like cents on the dollar. Use the goddamn CeeLo. Use the decorative CeeLo. Use the polka dot CeeLo. Use the butterfly CeeLo. They've got all kinds of CeeLo wrap out there that is darling, and the people go crazy for it. It will move your gifts in seconds. And with that being said, when this is your season and this is our season, and it only comes once a year, we need to treat it like it. I need to treat it like it. You know what I'm saying? So, I know if I just delicately squirt the Mona War, it smells really good, but it can be way too overpowering. So I will give a little disclaimer, but I'll also let them know that it does mellow out. So, and I know, we get tired, and, we're just like, I feel sometimes like I'm just going through the motions because I'm suffering burnout again. And, I did Christmas and I did Valentine's Day, and now I'm doing Mother's Day, and they're all rolling back to back. And my kid is supposed to be moving out. And, I know that's not going to happen until just as I'm going to the streets. You watch. It'll be coming in, and, because they're repainting her apartment and giving her recarpeting. So, she was supposed to move out the second week in April. And, and I know it's going to be, down to the last second. And believe me, I am prepared to take stuff out to the yard. If I got to stack stuff up out in the yard, I'm going to do it. So I'm like just trying to be proactive about it, and it's not fun because I don't want to be, doing a tap dance with the movers and her and all that kind of stuff. And it's getting full in here at the same time, right? Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. Yes, I love the butterflies. They're so cute. And it's a really great concept. So like I said, I'm just going to be hot gluing this flower to the front of the butterflies. And we got our lotion taped to the front of the perfume box. The carton of flowers is going to be hot glued to the base, to the top of the perfume. And that's going to act as a base. And then we've got the Eiffel Tower snuggled in a dozen roses. And we're going to be CeeLoing it either in more of this butterfly stuff, or we're going to be doing it in the polka dot. So I'm thinking probably the butterfly. And now that I'm looking at it, because it's like looking raggedy. And, I could probably slip it back in there, but, I don't think I'm going to take that chance because it's been sitting and things have shifted and it's moved around a lot. So, I'll be re-siloing that. See here, I've got 3 people in here. Hi, honey HHU. How are you, sweetie? I'm having a hard time pronouncing a lot of these people's names. All right, so we're gonna come back up here, and I'm going to be setting this aside. I'm gonna put that with there because I really would like to do all the hot gluing, at one time. Yeah, and I really don't want to have to lose one of these bows over it either. But let's see if I can salvage the bow here. And I'm really happy just to get Mother's Day done and over with. Because, oh my God. It's like every year. I mean, it's just, you don't get used to this. You just don't get used to it, man. And know your number. Don't be one of those, that you're going to be out there to kill it and you're in it to win it and you start building, like 500 to 1,000 baskets. That's just insane. Because the reality, now I do live in a small area, but I know, the traffic that I'm going to be getting for that area. And realistically, there is no way in hell that I'd be able to move that kind of a volume. So it's okay to know your area. It's okay to be strategic in that kind of a way. I mean, that's how I feel I win, to be a winner in this. And so with that being said, if you're new, God, you got to be overwhelmed. Or staying organized is everything in this, and take the community cafeteria style. You don't have to like everyone. Some people may present stuff in a way that it might be easier for you to understand. Some people have a style of their channels that you can relate to better, and that's okay. That's you doing your thing, which is what you're supposed to be doing. This is your thing, this is your deal, and you really gotta own it. Like, I have to own it. I have to own my stuff. Who am I allowing? Who am I listening to? Who am I to be bringing these ideas that may work for others but not for me into my business model? Oh, hell no. At the end of the day, what am I going home with? Why am I going home with it? If I'm going home with anything, well, what did I do that was successful that made that happen? And know this, that what works for some does not work for everyone. Some people are able to do chocolate and candles because they're in another state, and their state's climate is conducive to that. Here, oh, absolutely not. So if someone says candles does well, they're doing it for Mother's Day, that would be very true, but not for my area. That's just an example, right? Another person says, candy bouquets, they always do well. They always, move well. Okay, that may be well for you, but not here in Arizona. And I know that we get to listening to stuff because we do like experience, but there's more to it than just that. Is it going to work for your area? Is it going to be beneficial to you? Because chocolate can make a freaking mess when it melts. And so can candles. I just could not believe I had candle wax all over the hood of my car. And how, because I was packing it up. I was like, oh God, because I know I felt the heat stroke coming on. I was like, oh my God, the candle wax is melting everywhere all over my hood. Yeah, it's definitely time to pack up and go. And it's like, it never fails. Just as you're packing up, people come up, like, oh, oh, you're leaving. No, you can't do that. We need stuff. I'm like, I told them, I was like, yes, I am going. My candle wax is melting all over my hood. They're like, they're very empathetic. And they did buy, something from me. And then after that, that was when I was like, okay, it is time to go. I do have some gorgeous strawberry balloons that I am going to be blowing up and making it like maybe either a la carte. I can also strap them like up to the back of this, and I might do that too. We'll see. But, like I'm now getting that knack down to where I know how many balloons I can do, how many boxes I can fit in my car, and how to keep second trips open in the living room to just load and go to reload. Valentine's Day was a big winner for me because I sold out. Well, I had 2 or 3 left. I'd call that a sellout. All of my Bear the Hat boxes moved. And it's like, so I went out Saturday, 2 p.m. I want to say maybe till like 7. And then by Sunday the next morning, I was out. And I came home and reloaded up on some other stuff. Moved a couple more. And then, because I'm handicapped. And my condition was really kicking in. And it was so bad where I could hardly take another step because I was getting really bad tendonitis. And I set up near one of those ice machines, so I went and bought a couple bags of ice and just had them on my legs. I did a short on it. It was for this past Valentine's Day that I was out there, and thank you, I appreciate it, Lisa. And got the inflammation and the onset of the tendonitis down enough to where I could take a few steps to get the stuff in the car to just go home. And I iced for the next couple of days. So it's not bright on my part. I don't make good choices just because I'm handicapped. And I know, and I always say that. Yes, thank you, Lisa. It felt really good to go home with nothing. You know what I mean? It was like, so what happened was the price, the holiday, and the payday, and the appearance and presentation of the gift all lined up to be, moving up fast. They just love the Bear in the Hat boxes. And I had gotten those hat boxes from Hobby Lobby. Nessa did a video on those, and oh my God, I fell in love with those. But they were such a staple that I knew I was going to have for the season that I didn't wait for the 75 and the 90. I jumped like at the 60% and bought a ton of them. Then when they had their 90% sale on everything spring and summer, I was able to go back and get, to say 4 or 5 more at the 90% off. But because this is my season, I got it. Some things you got to really take it seriously. And I got to take it seriously. These things, you want 90% off. I want 90% off. Well, so does everybody else. You know what I mean? And I don't know how these people do it. They're always able to get there before me somehow, even though the store opens at 9 a.m. So I know people are hiding things, so So not only does everybody else want that 90% off, but they um they've got insiders, they've got employees, they got family members. They're hiding it in places in the stores. So all they got to do is just come right in and go right to it and take it. Take it right on up to the register. So I'm in competition against that. And there's everything about it. It's a big gamble that I do not want to take when it comes to my season. And so, I do buy it 50% off and 75% off, 60% off. But I don't get the pennies, and I don't do the, whatever else it is. Um, so, when you do math and you do calculations, a lot of stuff is just like a couple dollar difference. I mean, it really is. So the difference between 60% and 75% is 15%. You're saving 15%, and you have to outbest everybody else who wants in on the 75. And, I mean, all this stuff. And it's like, what, for 15%? It ends up being a couple dollars. Hell no. you know? And you get all this. I mean, those hat boxes were just so stellar. People just absolutely loved them. So, you know, um, that's just what I'm sharing with that. You might see me using this from time to time. It's my ruler. And then this is my ruler grip. This is measures and a straight edge. And then, down here you'll see my cutting mat, like so. So you'll see me measuring things and cutting things, and the handle helps keep it, in locked in space there, and you can just, wheel it along there. So I just wanted to show a new tool that I do use, and it really works good, especially when you're handicapped and you suffer from muscle convulsions and muscle spasms. And this is a really nice handy dandy tool. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. So this is the butterfly bouquet with the perfume snuggled in, and the people just absolutely loved it. I do use templates, and I am a product ambassador for Wendy over at Wendy's Designs and Creations. You will see me use some of her templates, and you will see me and hear me talk about those when I'm using them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link her stand store down in the comments. And then I also have been using Petunia Pickle Bomb props. She's on YouTube, and her YouTube tutorials are on YouTube. But she has a hip store, and so I'll be leaving a link to her hip store also down in the comments, because they are very user-friendly. And, there's some wheelhouses that I just have no business being in. And I think design just might be one of them for right now. Down the road, we'll see. But right now, I got to be the basketer, right? So, if this is what I got going on right now, this is what I got going on. I have no problem handing that wheelhouse over to Wendy, where her templates are very reasonable, and she takes all that headache and muss and fuss out of it. And same thing with Petunia Pickle Bombs, all that, trying to figure things out and factor things in, and all those sleepless nights, and, being up, and, they take all that hard work out and do the heavy lifting. So I will be putting their stores down in the link in my comments. So I wanted to mention them as well. All right, let's go ahead and let's grab another one. And I got my coffee this morning. Um, Coffee's so good. I'm just, oh. One of my medicines. So I was talking with you guys about my medicines. So I'm on the highest dose of gabapentin. I take 2,700 milligrams of gabapentin a day. And I am on the highest dose for Flexeril, which is a muscle relaxer. I take 60 milligrams a day of that. So I take 20 milligrams 3 times a day. And some medicines, they build, right? And, I've been having problems with the pharmacies and running in circles. And, so I was off of the Flexeril for a little while. And when that happens, your side effects, they're there. So I have to go and build up tolerance to the side effects of that. And I swear I just get so loopy and drowsy and that kind of stuff. So I had to adjust when I take that medication and adjust not taking it at the same time with the gabapentin, because I'm always on a number of medications and I just want to take them all at once. And there's no specification on them that dictates we need to take these at different times and da 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 da. But I feel with what I'm experiencing, I'm going to have to take them at different times because I really feel like this loopiness and I can't focus. And I'm like, God, what is wrong with me? I can't concentrate. And then it gets really stressful because here I can't concentrate, So that's another something else that I'm working through. All right, I'm going to grab another one because, oh my Lord, this is beautiful. Golly, this seal can hold up, y'all. Oh, it can hold up. Oh my God, do I love this. Okay, I've got in here, yeah, damn it. All right, so here's another butterfly bouquet, but it's purple. Okay, and I broke the box on the Victoria, so I had to use the hammer. Darn it. I'm going to bring you guys down here. So, same thing. I got the lotion to the base, and this is all very purple. And I got to resituate the perfume in there, so that's what we're going to be doing. Other than that, this white polka dot CeeLo, it held up really nicely. And that's another thing I wanted to let you guys know, that people love height. They love, love, love height on stuff. Hey, Nessa, how are you? Good morning, sweetie. I was just mentioning with you about the hat boxes in Hobby Lobby. How you, came out and did a showcase of those. And those did so well. It was like that was my staple. I did like 15 of those and moved all of them very fast. It was like the day before Mother's Day, I had moved half of them. And then by the next morning, I was out, completely out. And so I was sharing my experience of that with people. And so, like I said, the CeeLo does so much. And I mean, people, they love the CeeLo wrap. It's like the, I don't know what it is. It's like the dessert. You know how we like to see the dessert first? It's like that. That was 15. Wow, yeah, I didn't play. I got freaking girl. I had to have an employee help me take those boxes out of the store. I had gotten so many. Girl, I had 2 carts. They were falling out of the freaking carts. I barely made it to the cash register. And so I want to thank you, for sharing that with us, because that, that really was a game changer for me. Um, it changed, it really changed everything in my, um, for a concept for me in that kind of a way. Um, okay, let's see here. Yeah, by the way, you guys, I used 5-gallon paint sticks to carousel those and then shrunk wrap them. I mostly use 32 by 40 shrink wrap. Depending on the size of the hat box, you could use 24 by 30. And then for the extra large ones, I had to use 40 by 50 shrink wrap bags on those, but people went crazy for them. All right, let's see. Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to. Yeah, this doesn't need a whole lot, but so this is the Victorious perfume. I love this perfume, you guys. This stuff smells better than designer perfumes, and I kid you not. These men smelt this perfume and they were just like so sold on it. The Mona Myrrh, I was saying earlier that it's very powerful, and I found that if you just lightly squirted it, it smells so good. But if you do like a full on squirt, it is very powerful. The guys, I wish I had, filmed them smelling the test bottles, because I keep, a test bottle of the perfumes, and it was so funny. They're just like, oh, Victorious it is. So it looks like a little trophy, and it says Victorious on it. They also have one that looks like this for the men, and it's called Undefeated. Oh my God, does that smell good? These perfumes smell better than a lot of the designer perfumes out there. Thank you, Nessa. I really appreciate it, girl. Yeah, they loved those. They really did. They loved those. And I want to say, like, because I am handicapped, it wasn't a whole lot, just carouseling with the paint sticks, and then putting the bear in and then stacking the goodie box in there and the perfume and then shrink wrapping. It wasn't this big, it wasn't hard necessarily to get to, is what I want to say. They went together so nicely, and the people just loved them. So I was really thankful that you had shared that. And just to let you all know, it did really well, and it's because it's novelty. Bears always do well. Flowers particularly are a must on Mother's Day. What a bear is to what bear and chocolates are to Valentine's Day is what flowers are to Mother's Day, without a doubt. You don't necessarily have to have a bear for Mother's Day, but you gotta have flowers. It's just one of those things, It's just one of those things. So I just wanted to share a little bit about these. You can get a lot of this stuff on Rainbow. There's other sites, but I think Rainbow has the $50 minimum in order to get free shipping. And they have also lots of other stuff on that site too, but they've got some of the best, I call them novelty perfumes, because they are that, and a lot of the other perfumes are like more on the sweeter side. But so I just wanted to share a little bit about that. So I nestle this in with the flowers, and it's just like right up here. Let's see if I can get that around right. So just like how this is with the Eiffel Tower sticking out of it, they really loved that. And I mean, they loved it. So I think I can get this to go if I squirt lightly. We'll see. I'm hoping. Really, really hoping, right? So let me see what I have on chat. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to have to take apart this CeeLo. Get my zip ties out. And because my cats love getting into the zip ties. It's the tape and the zip ties that they love getting into. Yeah, those lids on the hat boxes are heavy. The 5-gallon paint sticks gave them enough good height, and they were sturdy enough to hold the shrink wrap. And it gave it a really neat effect that people just love. All right, so I got the zip ties. All right, so I'm just gonna undo this here and see how pretty that is. And here we go. All right, still moving it on here. Okay. I love these. Like, I don't dick around. I need a good set of freaking biters. I got them. Believe me, these will fix your car, okay? I need a Jaws is what I need, and that's what I got. They're biters, and, you know, they get to it quick. Okay, so I'm just going to, you know, I'd really hate to have to re-CeeLo everything. I don't think I'm going to have to do that with the... So I thought what I do is just take everything apart and then line it up and do everything at once, but I'm going to have to do this individually. Okay, so, you know, at least you get to see, like, the meat and potatoes and stuff. All right, let me bring it down so you guys can see what we have here. There's just never a dull moment here. All right, so this is what this looks like. And then this is the this is the Victoria's perfume. And what I do is I nestle it up in here in the bouquet. And what I do is I do it with hot glue. And I got a little, you know how you have like garden stakes and stuff sometimes? Well, I got some that say Happy Mother's Day, thank you, Mom, kind of a thing. And so we're just going to go ahead and put this in here. And oh, that's another thing I want to let you guys know. Multiples. This is a good concept. I kid you not. It's a wonderful concept. People love this. So I do multiples. You know, just like the hat boxes. I'm a multiples person. You know, for time and otherwise, and it's a good thing. Like, let's just keep rolling it, right? And I found that people don't want the stress of having to choose, you know, like they already wanted to choose right, but now what do they choose over? You know what I mean? They don't like that, you know? And so this gives them, you know, enough of a variety, because, you know, I do use different flowers. We've got different lotions and stuff, but it gets them right in the realm where they want to be, you know? So it's like, well, do they have a favorite color? I'm like, oh yeah, they like this, and yeah, I'll get that, you know? But it's helpful to do multiples. Create a wide base with foam board so it can pull the CeeLo away from the gift and create better presentation. Just a thought. Okay, yeah, Nessa, yes, I will definitely do that. But I was using the perfume box as the base. And then I glued the carton on top of the perfume box. But yeah, that's definitely, I've used that on some other stuff and it did do well. So I will keep that in mind with this. Let's see if this stuff, okay, so basically what I need to do is I just need to hot glue. Oh, that's really sticky. And these are also top heavy. So when this gets top heavy, you know, and it's up at the top, it's really hard to rebalance the weight and weight displacement. You know, I just kind of got to do the best I can with it. What this is needing repaired, you know, and then this purple flower goes right in front like that. And then we reseal it and then it's good to go. Let me just kind of fluff this out a bit more. So, you know, like this. And then, you know, it really makes for a great presentation. And the white CeeLo does, the white polka dot CeeLo does a lot. The butterfly CeeLo, any kind of decorative CeeLo, they love it. You know, I think it adds, you know, extra to the design, more decoration. It looks more decorative, but they really love it. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, Sadana. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Good morning, Joy. Welcome to the channel. But the butterfly is so pretty. I think that would allow, yes, it would allow it to be seen more. Yes. Yes. So yeah, so I was also talking about height and how important height is. People love height. Putting this on top of this is the empty box of perfume. By the way, they love boxes. You know, I'm that way too. I don't know what it is. Why do I want to have the box to perfume? And it's like perfume particularly. You know, I just want to have that box and people are the same way. So they get the box and we're including it in the concept. So, it gives it that height. So I set the carton on top of the perfume box, put the lotion in the front, and then snuggled the perfume bottle and the roses, you know, and then added some other embellishments. They just love it, you know, and it's simple enough, but it's just so decorative. And, you know, the people just absolutely love it. And that's another thing. The men love fake flowers, you know, or forever flowers. They love those. And I've had them tell me that they prefer these because the care, like trying to get, like here in Arizona, good luck with that. You know, they wilt fast. They're more delicate. You know, and they really prefer the fake flowers. So to give you guys some feedback on that. Oh, you're so sweet, Nessa. I would love to have that on my table. Great job and creativity, Shannon. Thank you so much, Nessa. You're so wonderful. I appreciate you. Are you going to do your ottomans this year? I love how you do your ottomans and your purses and your, you know, you always add some kind of a, you know, something that always makes those concepts just very unique and very luxurious. And you have a way of doing that. Let's see here. Of course. Did you see the latest Five and Below ottomans? They're like $20, but they're the oval shape. And they got heart-shaped tables. You know, that I know we could do something with those. So, but Nessa, you guys, does phenomenal creative work. This woman is custom. She does a lot of custom work. She puts a lot of thought and time and effort in her concepts, you know, and she designs very well. So if you guys are new and you're wanting, just another creator, you're wanting more, Nessa will give you that. She can give you that on her channel. You best believe it. And, I don't, when I watch you, I always take away something from you. You know what I mean? There's just always something that I get from you. So I wanted you guys to know that. And I wanted to share you with, people who are here and in my little community. Y'all, big hugs to you too, sweetie. And you're like, man, you guys are heavy hitters. There's heavy hitters in this community that don't just like stand out in their gifts, but they walk their talk and they are in the streets in the cold. And I mean in the snow and in the rain and in the wind. And Nessa is one of them, and she handles it extremely well. There's no talk about that. We're just doing. So if you see her, in an ice storm or a snowstorm and she's talking to you and talking about how, giving her experience with how the day's going, and she is on point with that. But you're very much so a heavy hitter in that kind of a way. Nicole with Divine Creations is that way also. So you guys really have it going on. When it comes to, rain or shine, because this is our season and you guys really act like it. You own it and you guys have your ways of doing stuff. I, got clear plastic shower curtains that I can cover the tables up if we get a monsoon and it rains. You guys are very proactive. So, I really want to thank you guys for that. But I also want to state these women aren't alone. They aren't alone. And by God, if you're wanting to go out and do that, I do not recommend that. These other women do have others that are with them. I do not recommend you go out in those elements alone, because all it takes, these gifts are heavy. These perfumes, they're freaking heavy. When I put them in these silos and with a balloon, they act like they take off like a kite. This hits me in the head and knocks me out. My God, I just can't imagine what that would be like. That's a real concern. These tents, the wind gusts blow up, takes the tents off, blows tables over. All it takes is, God, I just can't imagine, that kind of a thing. But do not go out alone. Have a buddy system, have someone. I have a friend that'll drive by and check on me, and family that will check on me, but I do not recommend you guys going out alone. My husband said let's see here. My husband said he doesn't it too. Junior. You guys are great. You guys are great. I love you guys. You guys are huddle in the car together, and then people come up and, well, time to get up and handle the people. Oh my gosh. Nessa says, don't forget to hit that like button as you come in, guys. Thanks in advance. Thank you, Nessa. I appreciate it. I forget to take care of that kind of housekeeping. I'm a bad channel handler. Like, I'm just here to talk and do, and I forget all that like and subscribe stuff. I'm bad in that kind of a way. So, okay, so that's this concept here. I'm going to have to be resetting this. So I will put it aside with this one over here. And, I really don't have a whole lot that I need to be doing this with. I'm going to take this cello and, try and see if I got it opened up. So all I got to do is just put it in. And like what Nessa suggested, putting a foot at a foot foundation at the bottom, very bottom, to help it stabilize it better. You just take a piece of cardboard and you set a concept on it. You can either glue it or you can do glue dots to it, but it helps to stabilize it, and helps it's upright. So we might be doing that too. Okay, I got another one. Oh, it was the best. I really wished I was able to film the men smelling the perfume because they're like, the faces they would make. It was so funny. And they're like, we'll go with the Victorious. We're sold. Oh my God, it was so funny. Oh, holy cow. You know, I made that mistake of, I was like, oh, I read the reviews and everybody said it smelled so good. So, I bought like 12 of them, right? And I'm putting these concepts together. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should smell this. Maybe, I got to know what this is like. Oh my God, is that powerful? So I was like, let me just keep it and let them make their choice. And boy, that was a hilarious day. Last year was hilarious. And, I had enough of these, more than enough of these where they were like, okay, we'll go with this one. But because I wasn't necessarily quite sure these, like, didn't make up a whole bunch of them. But I figured out a way where you just barely squirt it lightly and it's not so overpowering. So I might be able to do that with them. Love you too, Nessie. Have a beautiful day, sweetie. Thank you for your presence. All right. Oh my goodness. I'm coming back later to see if you put the foam board at the bottom. I want to see it. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, I could definitely do that. It would also help with this stuff. So, okay. Here's another one that I'm going to be revamping, and it's the same situation. It just shifted a lot, and this up in here was top heavy. It really wasn't something I don't think I could have avoided, because I'm carrying them out reasonably. I'm not over stacking things and boxes and stuff. I mean, it's just, it was just one of these end of the day things, and I had to pack it up and come home, and they've been sitting, so, but we're going to do, Nessa's idea with the foam board and, see if we can't get them more, more of a stable type thing. So, all right, here's another one. Who else has any questions? Anybody else have any questions? Who's having morning coffee? Anybody having morning coffee? This is by the way, these coffee cups from Dollar Tree suck. So I want to show you guys with these, and I'm so embarrassed for the customers that bought them from me. Okay, because it's not sealed really well, and they just put paper. This decoration is a sheet of paper, and so because it's not sealed up at the top very well, water got to it, and damaged the paper inside. And that was just after the first wash, and it was in the top rack on the dishwasher. I took another one and tried to do it by hand at the sink. The same thing happened. So I don't recommend buying these cups from Dollar Tree. Not these kind with the, that's just a piece of paper inside that they put, and they didn't seal around the top. And any kind of water, you can't wash it delicately enough. But this is what it did. So I'm not happy at all with these. So, I'd stay away from those, you guys. All right. Let's come on up. Come on up. Who else has got their coffee out? Anybody else got their coffee? Oh my goodness. I love my coffee. All right. Like the Rockies. Rocky the movie. Yo, Adrian. These ladies are my Rockies, man. I'm telling you. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna grab my biters and do this part. You know, and I still got a bunch more at another location that I need to bring back out. There we go. All right, super, super cool. I'm hoping to save these little bows because, you know, this kind of stuff adds up. But the people love the little bows too. You know, I didn't have to have, you know, sometimes less is more. It's like the simple thing that makes the touch, you know, and this did that. All right. Okay, we have another Mona more. And you know, the bag doesn't look that bad. But, all right. Bring this carton back into place. Let's see. Same thing over here. All right. Okay. You know, and here's this one. So this one's the white one with the cherry blossom. And, you know, here's a little, you know, yard stake. That's what I call them, you know, but a miniature one for decoration. I also got these little XOs. And, you know, put that in there. It's like another little embellishment right there. You know, and got the cherry blossom lotion. And we're going to be putting in this one, it's the Eiffel Tower Mon Amour Paris. Let me see if I can find it. And I'll see about getting a, yeah, it toppled over. A camera. Wow, that really got stuck on there. Which is what we want. Let me see if these, yeah, that's not. I was gonna say, okay. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'll be revamping this the same way. And, you know, again, we have a dozen roses, we have a lotion, and then we have the perfume. And it's the Mon Amour Paris, and it's by Urban. You know, I'm going to practice delicately, and I mean delicately, squirting this. Oh, gosh. See, if you just do it just so delicately. Oh, my Lord, does this stuff smell so good. You know, so put the cap back on. Do our undefeated. I just love this stuff. Oh my God, it just smells so good. Whew, stuff smells good. See, now I'm getting into it. Now I'm getting into Mother's Day. I was talking about how I was suffering from burnout earlier, but now I'm starting to get back into it. All right, so I'm gonna get this over here. Over here. And so this is what I'm going to be doing today. Does anybody have any questions while I'm in here? Because I'm going to, because I've got so much I need to do. I have no space to set the camera down. But this is our lineup for what I'm going to be doing. Whoops. today with the butterfly cartons and the hand lotion and perfume. Like this. And what I'll end up doing later is I'll do a short on them. You know, but I just wanted to do a little run through and give just the basics of what the concept is and what I'm going to be doing and give you guys a little bit of an idea and, you know, to share some feedback that people really do love these and, you know, sharing about my Mother's Day, giving experience on that and for my little, you know, for being in the desert, being in my area. So this is Shannon with Cinderella's Mice. I will be talking to you later. Thank you so much for attending. Mwah. All right, talk to you guys later.